or no?
I don't know, because when the acceptance will be closed, there will be a discussion with the school grounds. Those I am in charge of the festival, but not of the finance.
So what should I do? Just sit tight?
Probably. I mean, if I had to fight for this one, I probably could. But if I have to fight for two, especially with the boarding, and boarding for two kids costs almost $2,200, and that means somebody else has to pay for it, because we cannot dismiss that cost. We have to pay one way or another. And
But then then Gretchen can help Ella. I don't think Ella can stay there by herself.
Well,
I know, I understand, and I don't even know if Gretchen plays well enough to do it, does she? Probably.
I've never heard Gretchen. I know that this one would enjoy herself and would be fine. But the thing is that I do not know if I will be able to provide scholarships for two kids. And if she would be a spectacular cellist and we would have a shortage of the cellists, then I could probably wave that as a flag. But it looks like we have shortage of violinists and violists, but the cellists at this point we have already 7, and they're all very strong. We don't actually have weak ones. That's the issue. And
what's the age range of the cellists?
The ones that we have?
Yeah.
Well, the youngest one is Melissa. Do you know Melissa? She's Amanda's little baby sister. But that remember Amanda, the highlight of the recital?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right, her baby sister, I think she's 9, maybe 10. And she was there last year and she thrived. And this year she's coming back with the 2nd place on US Open competition. So she's super strong player.
Mm-hmm.
This one has obvious talent and learns fast, and she would be good there. I understand that she's. How old are you, child?
10.
You're 10? Well, we had kids who were 10. If you think that she's not mature enough, it's one thing. Otherwise, I think she would be okay. And if there is enough funds, we could help with the tuition. But the problem is the board, because it's not even up to school. Epicurean is an independent entity with whom I have to sign the contract, and school has to pay them.
Want to hear 2 seconds? She can play better than that. It's just that's what she just did a few days ago. But she wasn't ready.
I like her shoes. How old is she?
14.
She plays well.
Yeah, she's a good kid.
Good intonation, good sound, good posture. Are you friends?
Her sister.
I know that you're sisters, but that doesn't mean that you're friends. She plays well.
I don't know. I mean, I could maybe ask my mom, but she's not gonna.
Now let me see what happens, okay?
And we're leaving on the 20th, so it would only be until the 19th.
Pardon me?
It would only be until the 19th,
Oh.
which makes it another problem.
Can't I put them or her on a plane? And,
But then I have to pay for a plane.
oh, you drive.
Mm-hmm. But maybe next summer.
Can't you drive a couple of days later?
No.
Well,
I'm sorry, I didn't really, wasn't in the plan.
that's fine.
I mean, it'd be different if I knew somebody in Marin, but there's no way I can drive her there and back and go and pick her up, You have
No,
anybody driving there every day?
I actually think there would be because
If
Oliver,
there's someone driving there every day, I'll take them to the driver.
Oliver's mom,
She's not gonna drive them every day.
she thinks that Oliver is too young to board, not meaning in age but in maturity.
Mhm.
This one I think would be fine.
I think Oliver has,
But-
you know.
Yeah. So she wants to board Luke,
Mhm.
but to drive with Oliver for a daytime, and
Well, is there any
she's a
teacher?
runner.
Well, she can run, but is there any teacher that is driving every day there and back?
Edith,
Edith.
my wife.
Oh.
I move in, but she's.
Well, why don't we pay her something to drive the kids?
She would not accept money, but
I mean, then it's only the daytime. I mean, I could get the kids here. She could drive them. I pay her $15 a day to drive.
you don't have to pay her if she would agree.
I'm just saying, you know, obviously I have budgeted the lesson time and money,
Right.
so I could certainly pay that towards transportation.
Why
You
don't
know,
you,
but-
why don't you register kids? And if you can't, that deposit will be fully refundable. If they stay, whatever their pay would be, the deposit obviously would be incorporated into the total. And I believe, I don't remember exactly, but I believe from May 1st, they will set, or from April 1st, they will set the plan for people who earlier accepted, and they would offer them certain way of paying, like in installments.
Well, what about trying to get a driver?
No, but there is a tuition fee too. The festival is not free. It's not just a charge for the board.
Yeah, but how much is the camp itself is not as much as the board.
Oh, of course not. No.
Right.
And
So I'm
you
just
can-
saying, asking for a scholarship for some of the tuition is not the same thing as asking for the scholarship for the boarding too.
Of course, yeah. But I know for a fact that it's more fun to stay there and it's more productive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how many people pay and how many people stay in the building. I might just kidnap your child and get her in the room there without telling anybody. Let's go. But last year I paid for my daughter to be in the dorms. 'Cause- Let's go.
So are the cellists more advanced than Gretchen?
Yeah, of course. As I said, Gretchen plays well. I'm happy to see that she plays beautiful, with good phrasing and tune, and her posture is wonderful.
Well, but if she's not in the right level, it wouldn't be good to have her be there either.
No, she's definitely in the right level.
I'm just saying, you know, it's okay if she's not the right level. I know some of the kids really advanced.
Well,
And I saw there last year, like-
some of the kids are college students. Like Sergey's best student ever is coming back, and he was there every festival since beginning.
Okay.
So obviously he's stronger. Let's go.
It's wet.
Do you want to grow 4 inches, or should you move the stand down, Ella?
I'm going to put the stand down.
Okay. Sorry, we took
So
too
let's
much time.
start with that bowing. Yes, I like.
I'm not sure she even got to it, but you want the bottom one? Did you mark the bowing?
Where is your first page? Yeah, it's. Yeah, this way. Let me try. Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, yeah, the little Russian slide there would not hurt either.
Did you press record?
Yes, it's recording.
Okay, so in that case, let's We did a lot of technique last time, right?
Yeah.
So let's hear your concerto then. Can you play or you need to warm up?
I tuned, but I think I'm fine.
Did you tune?
Yeah.
Then play.
The first page.
Yep. Okay, stop. What is your dynamic there?
Forte.
Do you think you played forte for me? No? Why don't you? Go ahead. Okay. You're playing like somebody is about to die right now. And also, do you really think that you need as much bow for the first note than for the second? I think I hear her brain cells slowly, crisply move. Do you need the same amount of the bow for the first note and the second, child?
Yeah.
Then don't. Because you're moving that whole bow on one quick note and then you're choking on the long one. Just use less. Okay, that's better. It sounds beautiful, but it sounds mezzo piano. I need forte. Yeah, and forte is in the bow, not in the left hand. Left hand is still relaxed, and you don't need to shout the first note because then the second note would be even harder to play in the same dynamic, right? Go. Much better now. Do you think it's a good phrasing? It feels like somebody pinched you in the butt. No. You know, it's like a toothpaste. You step on it and it goes. Don't do this at the end of the phrases, right? I can't explain to you why, but it's really bad. Look, you brought sunshine to us. The weather suddenly is so beautiful.
Yay.
Start one more time. Yeah. No, sound is gone. I don't recognize my Ella. My Ella plays with a big, beautiful sound. Nope. Better. And now when you go ta ta dee ra ra ti, don't be a rabbit when you go up bow. Don't raise the shoulder. One more time. Yeah, it's clumsy, but it's correct and it's musical. Go on. Excuse me. Which one of those notes you want to be ugly?
No.
Then vibrate them all. No, you're not vibrating them. Stop and stop raising your shoulder. We need to give her a little sword and she will look like Torero in the closing hours. Keep the shoulder down, go. All right, now start. The natural phrasing goes. Wouldn't you agree? Right? Crescendo into the B flat, where B flat is the top note of the phrase, which means. Now speak. What do you need to do?
So get louder.
Well, you kind of going towards the frog, so Chian would call it natural crescendo. So you just need to allow your bow to get louder and it will do it by itself. But what else can you do on the B flat to make it special?
Vibrato.
Yeah, you can vibrate it more than the others and then it's special. Go. Good. Now, stop. What do you do with the violin when you want to play louder and stronger and powerful?
Is there a violin?
With your violin, yeah.
Nothing.
You bring the violin into bow. Bow stays, violin pushes up. Because you go da da da, and then that strong moment, you remove the violin from the bow, and the bow has nothing to play. Bow actually stays the same. The violin lifts against the bow and gives you a bigger sound. So don't bow when you play loud. Straighten yourself when you play loud. Understand? Okay. Okay, but you said something about bigger vibrato and you don't vibrate, so it sounds incredibly constipated. Let's try again. Thank you, dear. You know what? Desire was correct. Execution was not, because brain didn't think fast enough and didn't choose the right finger. Otherwise, I liked it. Let's do it again. Yeah, I want every note to be beautiful. Can you do that? What was that? Sneeze? Gesundheit. No, you need much more bow. Pa-dam, pa-dam, much more bow. Yeah. No, don't stop it. Just pa-dam. Yes. Good girl. Go on. Yeah, you're right. Sounds good. Go. Keep going. This is hard. Drop the shoulder though. Thank you. Good girl. Ah, what is this? Pa-dam! Oh my god. Stop. Stop. You just played ridiculously hard stuff on the G string, which one of my VP students is going to play at the juries in a couple of weeks, and she struggled. And you played the deadly in tune, which is almost unbelievable, and actually sounds like it's easy for you. And this is a basic elementary. I'm not talking about the stupid ice cream truck. I'm talking about the basic elementary shift into the third position, which you played out of tune. Come on. That's not funny. I'm ready to whip right here. Let's go. I bet it will be in tune now. Go. Ta-da! Ta-da! Smack! Now, you tell me, how are you going to make that shift? You should know by now.
You should practice going from E to G and then.
Yeah. So it's a basic arpeggio. Next week, hopefully, we'll have lessons. Maybe you could explain to Ainsley that all shifts are basically arpeggios. So play that arpeggio for me. Slowly. No, just arpeggio. And now on the legato party. Yes, and it is absolutely in tune. Now do it in the piece, but think that way. And you overshot. Good. What is supposed to be done to the note after the shift? Then please do it. Do you know what is the biggest waste of time in learning the piece for the young violinist?
To learn it wrong.
for teacher to tell you what you already know. I have other things to tell you, but until you will do this, I will sit like a grumpy cat here. And you know that, and you're not doing it. And it's really stupid because you are exceptionally strong player. You played ridiculously difficult part of the piece flawlessly in tune, and then you're missing the basic elementary shift. And if you didn't know how to do it, I would understand. It would be my fault then, but you do. Do it again. From save the bow. Yeah, I just what I'm saying. Buddy, little guys need more love. Yeah, clumsy but very interesting. Let's go on. Did you practice with a metronome? I think you
I'm
did.
just clearing my throat. There was nothing else.
No, I
telling
think
me.
she's thinking she's gonna fail right now. Did you practice with a metronome? Oh. Okay, well, good luck. These are eighth notes. Can you play in that tempo, or this is too fast for you? That's correct, yeah. Doing it slower. Slower? Not bad though, you play good rhythm. I'm impressed. Let's do 90. Stop. I was actually thinking to myself as you were playing, wow, what a fabulous bow hand. Who did that? There's nothing to fix right here. Except when you went to the G string, you're doing the same bloody thing that Mignon used to do. Lazy, strong players. They're here, then they go up, and this collapses. No! This should never change. You are here, and you are perfectly spread, your bones are perfectly leveled, your wrist in a perfect position, and you're perfectly flexible, just enough time. It was ideal situation. And then you went to the G string and you did this with your thumb. And ow, even to show you that thing hurts my wrist. Please don't. Do you understand what the problem was? You sure? It's not even about this piece, it's about everything. This or this, this or this, but never like this. And ironic, but you will look around and you will see many kids around you, even adults, playing like this. Guess what? They did not have good teachers in the beginning. This is wrong, and it will never be right, ever. Do you understand? Because, give me that bow. No, I don't need the violin. See this? This is the only thing besides the string that supports the bow underneath. Everything else, one way or another, pressing it down. Do you understand? This is the way to be heavy and relaxed, to press down and still be able to move. If your thumb is not supporting it, if your thumb is like this, something else supposed to support, guess what? This what does. This is what you see most of the time. The wrapped around first finger straight pinky and squished thumb. This is good, this is not. Understand? No, your bow hold is still good. But you need to make sure that I never see this. And I promise you, I was like, yeah, look at that. Oh no. Do it again. Here's your 90. Keep going. Thank you, dear. It's supposed to be very, very emotional and dramatic. And you're playing very well, but too calm. I don't think you will survive in Texas because she's such a Cali girl. You know. Hi. Beach Boys. Let's go. Let's go. Now leave her with us. Go to your... Yeah.
No, you just come with us.
Yeah. I don't like Texas, even though Nikki keeps calling. I should probably go visit Dallas. Good. This is actually really good. Now, that's like in Funny Face when Fred Astaire sings there's something missing. What do you think is missing in your playing? Vibrato. And I know it sounds crazy, it's so fast, but I think you still can vibrate some of those notes. The very least, the second notes of the double slurs. It's the easiest way to make it emotional and passionate without too much work. Do it. That's too wimpy. Come on, put some weight on it. Put that entire half pound of your arm into that string. Drop that shoulder into the sound. That's the girl. Drop that shoulder. Yeah. Keep that shoulder down. Go. That's the idea. I understand that I asked you for something very hard, but remember in the past when Cheney asked you to do something at the end of the piece, you went like, I never forget. I think I have a video of that. Chian, remember?
Yeah.
She got excited by you and she was pushing you harder and harder and harder, and finally she reached the bottom and you stopped and went like, now you're not doing it, you're trying it, and I appreciate the bravery. I appreciate your integrity. I appreciate that you try to rather be less violent but clean. I really like that quality, I really do. But I think you can play a little more without losing that integrity. Understand? Excellent. Let's go for the staccatos. What is the first thing that should come to mind? 2 words. Come on.
Good job.
Good guess, but no. What's the most common mistake for the staccatos? Let me demonstrate and you will tell me. Oh, you're such a bad student, Eugene, you know. What was my mistake? What?
You use a lot of too much bow.
Yeah, I use too much bow instead of going and be done somewhere here. I went just like Hensley, and she uses so much bow that becomes partamento instead of you know. No, right? Let's go. You have to be metronomic, you have to be absolutely correct. You have to start every note with weight into the
I'm
string.
sorry, what is the metronome at?
90.
It is really
I'm just curious.
90 at this point, yes. it was at 120 and she started to play and she played well and then she stopped and said, I'm going on strike. Right, and 90 is easy for her, and really she should change the metronome all the time, because what I see all the time that kids of her age and a little bit older, say from 10 until 15, they have kind of a preloaded timer in them. They play everything with the same beat. Everything. And it's really dumb because they pile a lot of mistakes, and not because they can't do it, but because they, for whatever, some magnetic force is pushing them to play it either too fast or too slow, right? So the easiest way to fight it is to constantly play the same piece of music in different speed and discover different places of the bow and different ways of survival. Understood? However, when my teacher was telling me what tempo I should practice virtuosic music, his point was played in the fastest tempo possible, underlining the possible. Not one click faster than you can play perfect, but as fast as possible. Why? Because you play mostly in the right part of the bow, using the right amount of the bow, using the right muscle action, finger action, and whatever else. Understood? Probably not, but maybe yes, because you're incredibly smart when it comes to the violin. Are you smart at school? Your mother just sighed. Excellent, you're a hooligan. I love hooligans. You know, we need to get her to San Dominica VP when she's of age. And
VP?
Virtuoso program, that's a scholarship program. You know that the boarding student in San Dominica costs over $70,000 per year. I obviously cannot afford this, but I can afford to keep my kids there since kindergarten, because they're straight A student and they are in VP, both of them, and they really strong players. Especially Anthony, who was there from 7th grade, even though VP starts from the 9th. And yeah, I am legally not allowed to say the number, but it's something very reasonable and I can easily afford it. That's why I couldn't do anything doing my stupid taxes up until I fell asleep on the couch with my stupid...
Well, yeah, we had some amazing scholarships, Gretchen's in Jewish school.
Yeah. Anyway, so whether she's still in Texas or you finally came to your senses and come home, but she belongs there, and if she continues to play like she plays now, it would be a no-brainer. Those people who have created that program will pay for her. There's no such a thing as absolute full scholarship, but it's very reasonable. And she will be in the safest, beautiful place, waking up in a beautiful college prep school with the best orchestra in this nation as the high schools go. Let's go. Staccato. Okay, sweetie, you're wrapping your finger around, you know that this part of the first finger there creates the T. Remember, if it's like this, it looks like some kind of virus. Under the microscope, of course. There. Only pressing down and not sideways. Otherwise, once again, your thumb is going to start to be stiff, your bow is traveling like this. Every note is supposed to start from pressure and end with the release. Pressure, release. Pressure, release. So play really, really slow, one note at a time, very little bow. Press before you play, not during. Perfect. There you go. See, that is absolutely correct. Now you tell me, and we will move on to other parts of the concerto, but you tell me, what do you need to do now with this part? What's the difference between slow tempo and fast tempo? Ooh.
To get faster.
What's the difference between slow tempo and fast tempo? What should you change? I know it's a hard question. Now listen to me carefully and remember forever. You already know a lot. As a matter of fact, maybe that's not a politically correct thing to say, but I think you know about violin strokes and teaching more than some violin teachers. Remember this forever. You learn the correct technique slow, and then you shrink the time in between. But you have to teach your head, not your fingers. You have to teach yourself to think faster. Up until you reach the point when it's too fast for your brain, and then the brain says, you know what? What the heck? I taught you well, you go. And the fingers just run around like happy teenagers doing the right things. Do you understand? Do the slow thing for me one more time. I was thrilled to see the perfection of technique there, even though it was very slow. Why are you staring at my nail clipper? It's a cool one, see? Yeah. Go. Good girl. Done. So that way you practice and then you go faster and faster and faster without losing that technique. And then eventually you will realize that hand does a little bit of this action, a little bit of twist, and that third finger. That's why I keep yelling at Ensley, because she's holding here and she needs to get down. This action right here starts the bow flying. When this scoop happens, the third finger sends the bow up and you go bum 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 bum. That's the easiest way to play volant. Do you understand? All right, move on.
So, but not in this section, but when the bow is sliding, how do you fix that again?
Don't grab it. That's where it's coming from. If this is sitting on the top, flexible, the bow cannot slide. It just simply can't. When the thumb is underneath the stick, the bow goes perfectly straight unless you do this way.
So it's not that she forgot about her bow
No,
and that she's focusing
no,
on
when
her
the bow-
fingers. The bow's going like that because of the
No,
thumb.
when the bow does the potato peel stroke, the only reason for that is frozen wrist. And therefore frozen fingers. It's like, rigor mortis right here. When she does this thing.
Okay.
And when the bow obviously goes towards her face and creates ugly sound on the bridge, it's a wrapped first finger. That's why I stopped her and I said, this part of the finger, letter T, only down. It's never pulling it sideways. The bow is not a trigger. You don't do this. You sit on top and you press
But
down.
the finger is sideways.
See? This is the idea. This guy underneath, this is on the top.
Yeah.
And this is why we drop the wrist at the top of the bow, because that's what we want to create.
Mm-hmm.
See, we want to be able to press down, or rather, hang on it.
And you're going to teach Gretchen that, right?
Oh, God. Well, bring her here, I will see what I can do, but I'm not a cellist. Sergei knows about violin much more than I know about the cello. But if it didn't work, then it didn't work. He's a tough one.
She's a tough kid too, it has to be the right,
No, you're the cellist. You're learning fast everything that I know. Why don't you? Or she doesn't listen to
because
mommy.
she's 14.
That makes
I
sense.
mean, I will teach her. It'll be 45
You know-
minutes of argument, 3 minutes of cello.
Right. Ann Crowden told me once that the same hand that wipes the ass doesn't teach violin.
Right.
Yeah, don't teach your children.
How long have you been here? Oh, 30 years.
plus
So you know who my teacher, did you know Ed Weingart? That was my teacher when I was a kid. But he is very ordinary, but very nice guy. He's
Okay.
dead, of course.
Okay, move on. You're doing good so far. No. Skip the staccatos and we'll go past that point. Right there. No, do. Ta-ra-ti-ra-ta-ra-ta-ri-ta. That is the hard one. Yeah, the shoulders. and bigger. Go, 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 go. Yeah, fine. Start again for me from here. And when you play emotionally, especially up bow, please don't raise that shoulder. I know that you're strong already enough not to worry about it. You easily keep that shoulder down. It's a habit. And it's possibly not even physical but emotional. She's like, oh, Anna Karenina. No, keep the stupid thing down and then you will be less in pain later on. Yeah. Okay, stop. This is good. And what you played for me, the mistake was an accident, I'm sure. What can you make? Are you already exhausted? Oh my goodness gracious. Maybe I should kidnap you and take you to Thailand with me. I'm planning to swim like 5 hours a day. She goes, you like swimming?
Yeah.
Oh, well, in San Domingo, our building is in front of the pool. And I have my own lifeguard, who apparently is my daughter's boyfriend.
We're gonna have a pool, Eugene.
Ah?
We're gonna have a pool.
Yeah, but mine is in Marin County. Yours is in Texas. I have another one in my lake house. And I have one here in the Lake Ridge. And it's all not in Texas. No, nothing is wrong with Texas. It's a beautiful place, but everybody wants to be in California for a reason. I've traveled. I've been to every major city in the United States at least 3 times, maybe more. But, you know, Luke's and Oliver's mother hates me because my favorite town is Charleston. And that's where her mother-in-law comes from, so duh, of course she hates it. But other than that, here is the best place to be and raise the kid. It's a diverse society. It's a beautiful weather. It's a health-conscious, democratic people here. And, you know, I look around and all my neighbors are very different people, but they're good people. And I can
Well, maybe I
on
should
them.
move to this neighborhood.
Well, then maybe you should. Maybe you should. Let's go, child. Stop. You didn't answer my question. I asked you, what can you do to make it more expressive and emotional?
Provide.
On the second note of each slower, yes. And that will connect it better too. Tom, yom, yom. First note and then every last note. No. First note and then second note, second note, second note. You're welcome to vibrate them all, but the second notes must have vibrato. Go. You know, I would like to meet Gretchen. I was very impressed with what I heard. I would like to see what kind of person she is, and if there is a chance, I will get them. Right? But this one, I want there because it's almost like I owe this to society. You know, I was asked in an interview what I consider my accomplishment, and my accomplishment is over 700 kids who I helped to become decent human beings. And that way, it doesn't really matter which way the bloody sun rises in Washington, D.C., they make it a better world for my children. And that's my investment, and that's my portfolio, you know. And this one, yeah, I mean, obviously you are a good kid, but you have a certain light and many kids don't. Alright? So don't waste it and take care of it. In the place where I was born, people say, if Allah gives you a gift that you neglect, it's a sin. They also say Allah always saves the careful one. I like that one. If you drive across the traffic on the freeway and pray at the same time, most likely God is going to go, oh my God. Alright, you did really, really well. Let's go to the second
And you know, I want to tell you something. A lot of times when you're playing here, I find that I'm not breathing, and I know it's when you're not breathing, but in that last 4 measures, I didn't feel that. She actually didn't make me, you were actually playing relaxed and big.
No, that's exactly what I said. That raising of the shoulder stopped being mechanical. It's emotional. But it's still not good.
Was she raising the shoulder just now?
No. She can perfectly play without raising shoulder. It's in the past, but she just needs to remember that it's like making face that is emotional and making face that is silly when you play.
Well, I told her to put all her emotion in her big toe, but she won't listen to me.
Well, let's go. Her emotion will not fit in the big toe. It has a huge heart already. Let's go. That's a very bizarre bone. That is a bone. It may be hard to see here. But
Look, I drew you a slow here. See? Our bone here.
okay, let's go. No, don't slap the bow. Sing. You're like a singer who coughs before. Right? Oh, right away. Go. Breathe in, breathe out. Gently touch the string. Yes. Ow. Stop. Now, here's the question for a young, brilliant teacher such as you are. You played the shift, you played it out of tune. It could be an accident, but I don't think so. What do you have to know for sure before the shift?
When you go to third position.
Yeah, but sometimes you play the notes in some super high positions, and most of the teachers say, you have to know that you go in the 11th position. I don't know where my 11th position is. I just hear the note and I go there, right? You have to hear the pitch in which you go. And yes, you never shift into the note. You always shift into the position, meaning that you bring your whole hand, and whatever position you are in, you have all the notes right there. So you don't wiggle once you're there. But what you should also know, and that's number 1, how do you shift? And there are only 2 ways, proper or Russian. So which way are you shifting, child? Well, then play the arpeggio for me. And again. Yeah. And yes, you're welcome to do the Russian shift there. It's totally appropriate in this particular part. But if you want to do the proper, by all means, it's your emotion and it's your aesthetic. But what is not good for whatever point of view is to play it out of tune, right? Show me the Russian way. Don't do this with your hand. Keep your spine straight. No, that is a miss. Stop. Describe the Russian shift for me.
You shift from a note, but you don't,
Do you know what laconic means in English? It means to deliver lots of information using as little words as possible, as few words as possible, I should say.
So you start from one note, and then...
No. You shift on the new finger. And if you are not doing it on the slower, you shift on the new bow. Let me show you. Your proper shift requires the ghost note, which basically means arpeggio every time. So where you show that, and you should not be able to miss it if you just think about it for a millisecond before doing it, right? If you leave it to chance, you can still do it, but it will require you 2 extra hours of practice to basically drill that motion into yourself in this particular concerto, when all you have to do is to think for a millisecond. You already know how to go here and then play that note. You don't need to practice it, just think. But if you want to get emotional, then remember, you shift on the new finger and you shift on the new bow, and you pray that you're not going to be too schmaltzy, otherwise it will be yucky, you know. Right? So you have to be light and quick, but still a little, right? Oh, those Russians. And you can pick. You can pick, or your choice. But you have to choose one or another. You cannot do in between.
But the Russian shift is not a hand wiggle either, right?
Oh,
That's what I think.
What happens after? Oh, cool shoes. Just like your Gretchen's, right?
Right.
Really, really cool.
They're probably the same age, you know.
I guess so.
Are
You're
you
14,
14?
right? No, 15. 14?
14.
Still 14? Oh my
See,
goodness, you're
when's your
such a
birthday?
baby.
May 13th.
Coming
May.
up. My
Same shoes.
goodness.
Her sister has the same shoes.
Child, do you have your driver's
Good
job
choice.
completed?
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Oh, you're still 14. I thought you were 16. Oh my god, no, she's so tall. Anyway, the position of the hand after you actually there is exactly the same. The point is that you are not allowed to move your hand once you arrived into the end of the shift. You move your fingers up and down, but you don't try to search for those notes. But the point is how you get there. The proper shift requires the shift on the same finger that you played before. For example, here, and then, see, you arrive there and then play the new note.
Mm-hmm.
In a Russian shift, the shift is on the new finger. So you stay here. And if I would be on my violin and not that little thing, I would also do another thing. The more expressive way of Russian shifting is to put the finger down, like as if you're about to play harmonic, slide on a fat part of the finger, stop a little bit before the note and vibrate yourself in. So you are vibrating and you're hitting that spot. That's where Chiyan's vibrato exercise comes. This. That hitting of the pitch in her... that is specifically for... I'm exaggerating, obviously, just to make a point. Do you understand? You sound great. A few moments today, and it's not because your mama likes you, but because you really hit the spot today. Next time, let's start with technique, do probably half the time of all the Shevchiks and stuff. And I have a little kid in San Domingo who now does... No, what notes are? Can you do it? Blink, blink, blink. Get the violin out. Let's see if she remembers. Do you have that music, child?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going on stage in the Fiddler on the Roof soon, right?
Played yesterday.
You played the show already?
No, it was previous.
Ah, how was it?
Good.
Good. Oh, I'm sure you were. She's doing Isaac Stern's solo for the fiddler. She's the fiddler on the roof, and
Where?
then suddenly she's a villager.
Where?
For a school.
Are you a villager or a
At
villager
what
rep?
school?
Edwards.
At Edwards?
Cool. Okay.
I forgot to put this back.
That's okay. It's okay. Let her. See this? Remember that? When you were a little bit longer than she, I taught you guys that the technique class. Repeat this 4 times and play Sortilla. Go ahead. Balance point. She was always faster than necessary. Slow down, child. But you hear the stroke is there. She will need to learn the notes, which will take 5 minutes, and she will be fine. Do you understand? The approach is there. Maya, don't do this. You do this, the same thing that Anthony does. You know, I don't know how to unscrew him. It's like, Anyway, you did good. Go. Maya, let's play solo for them.
Well, Ella's gonna be in the Snow Queen tonight.